The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
We are now about to witness the truth.
it's the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Well, it's a sad... No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm not surprised. I couldn't even fake being surprised about this result. I can't even fake being upset about this result because I knew it was coming. And if you've been listening to me, I told you this was coming. It doesn't make it any different. Doesn't make, it doesn't make those of you who are extremely upset. I know it doesn't take the edge off. I'm not trying to say I told you so, but what I am trying to say is I predicted this outcome. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The first 14 minutes of James Comey's speech, I guarantee you every Hillary Clinton supporter was shitting large bricks. Because for the first 14 minutes, James Comey laid out and outlined every reason why she should be indicted. For 14 minutes straight. For 14 minutes straight, I watched the TV like, holy shit, H.A. Goodman might be right. I don't know. Everybody may not know who H.A. Goodman is, but if you've been following this case, you know who H.A. Goodman. But for 14 minutes, everything that man had been saying was exactly what James Comey was saying. And I know you cannot tell me that they were not in tears. Like Hillary Clinton, if she didn't know what was going on for the first 14 minutes of that press conference, I guarantee you she asked somebody to go get her some Maalox or Mylanta or whatever they drink these days for upset stomachs. Because that was, he did not recommend an indictment, but that was a sweeping indictment of her negligence, her gross incompetence, and the fact that she had been lying to the American people. Listen, you can spin this however you want to spin this. You could say it's time to move on, whatever. However, what you cannot say is that Hillary Clinton has been truthful with regard to these emails. You cannot say that. If you say that, you are delusional. You're lying to yourself, and you should seek help. Because you're investing yourself into a person who, quite frankly, would not give two. Well, I've met my shit quota for today, so let me change. But she doesn't. If the rubber met the road, the Clintons are interested in their self promotion, and people have invested. They have poured their entire lives. I'm not talking about people who get paid like six figures to defend the Clintons. I get it. If you get paid good money to defend the Clintons, then you should be out there doing your job, damn it. I'm talking about these people who are just on the sideline and have so much emotional attachment to the outcome of Hillary Clinton, not the outcome of America, the outcome of Hillary Clinton. And they are so invested in this that they cannot see there's no way they would admit to themselves today that Hillary Clinton has been lying to them about this email scandal, which FBI Director James Comey outright said Hillary Clinton. Well, he didn't outright say it, right? But everything that Hillary Clinton said that she didn't do, James Comey said, nah, woman, you did do it. I had to catch myself there. I had a little too much. Anyway, not drink. Just I was having fun before the show. I was having fun before the show because I did not realize my wife was gangster. Let me tell you, my wife is more gangster than me when it comes to politics. That's why we don't really talk about politics, right? We don't talk about politics at home because I get angry about and this and the man and that. I'm an angry black man at home. I don't let you guys see my angry black man because, I just let it out in spurts so that you can, take it all in. But at home, like when we talk about politics, and I was talking to my wife this afternoon, she was like, so your girl got off. I'm like, yeah, that's the epitome of white privilege. And she was like, she said, I forgot. Well, we had a little small talk, but then she said something. So I asked her what she was going to do. I asked her who she was going to vote, who you're going to vote for. And the name Jill Stein came up. She said, yeah, my wife says she's voting for Jill Stein. And I said, for real? She said, yeah. I said, you're voting for Jill Stein? And she said, yeah. She said, I didn't know I had an option, but now that I know of Jill Stein, I'm voting for Jill Stein. I said, really? I said, were you struggling with whether or not you were going to vote for Hillary Clinton? And my wife, I will never forget this. She said, no, she was struggling with whether or not she was going to vote at all because she wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. And she didn't know what she was going to do until she found out about Jill Stein. Round of applause for my wife. She is by far the more cutthroat in the relationship. So, yeah, man. But I told you guys, I've been telling you that, whether or not something. So the one thing I was not clear about, and I was not willing to make the assumption of or draw a conclusion on, was how bad was this email situation? I stayed away from it as long as I could until the Inspector General's report came out. And then I was like, okay, there's some teeth in this. This is not a good situation for the Clintons. So I stayed away from it as long as I could because I wanted to see what the FBI actually was going to say. However, I did say a couple of weeks ago, no matter what they have to say, chances are they will not indict Hillary Clinton because, believe it or not, some people are above the law. And that's essentially what Comey said, right? Now, I don't want to I don't want to misrepresent his words because there are a lot of people out there misrepresenting his words. Now, his direct words were, and I'm paraphrasing, but the sentiment of what he said was, in other circumstances, in similar cases, people would be punished administratively, or they would be punished and sanctioned, basically saying there would be some administrative action. He did not say, like many people are suggesting, that in other scenarios someone would be indicted. Now, Comey didn't say that. Comey did say, though, that they would face some type of administrative action. All right. That means that in any other scenario, someone who's guilty of what Hillary Clinton did would probably have their security clearances revoked. They very well probably could be fired. Most likely would be fired. So here we have, as a presidential nominee, essentially it's all but over. We'll see you in Philly. Let's see how that goes. But, for all intents and purposes, Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee. You have a Democratic nominee who, if was a lower level individual, could not get a security clearance and would have gotten fired more than likely for their actions. Yet and still, the Democratic Party wants to run this individual to be the president of the United States. Congratulations, Democrats. You played yourself. And I'm laughing. I'm laughing about it because it is, just think about the precedent that we're setting, right? And we'll talk about, I do want to do a special segment for Hillary Clinton supporters, right? We'll talk about them in a second. But let's think about the precedent that we're setting here. We are saying that we are okay with a presidential nominee who is not only has been under FBI investigation damn near the entire primary, but also has been found to have done things that warrant her losing her security clearance, warrant her getting fired, and just shy of getting indicted. If the quantity of emails that she sent which were classified, because first she said nothing was classified, right? Then Director Comey came out and said, no, in actuality, there were about 110 emails that were classified, and they were classified at the time she sent it. Remember, they said that, these were retroactively classified. And this is the political theater, the political spin. There is such thing as retroactive classification. It is an entire body of work. People study the process through which they retroactively deem things classified, sometimes for legitimate reasons and sometimes for non-legitimate reasons. And Hillary Clinton knew that loophole was there, and she used that simply for a news cycle. That's it. She used it for a news cycle to spin and to give her supporters something else to cling on to. But where I was earlier, the precedent has been set. We can now have people underneath FBI investigation running for the White House. Hell, we have a Neanderthal who has rape charges, or not rape charges, but a lawsuit dealing with rape, underage rape, on the other side of the equation. The bar we're coming down from Barack Hussein Obama. We're coming down from, and I'll talk about him and his little thing he did with Hillary today. You got to look at, you don't have to do anything. But me, I separate Obama from his commitment to the Democratic Party. But before Obama became the Democratic establishment Obama, he was the constitutional scholar Obama. He was the great spokesperson Obama. He was black excellence Obama. Married a wife who was a corporate lawyer who was, she was the breadwinner. She was the one with like a 7-figure salary and just a beautiful family, and, hadn't been guilty of anything but being born black, right? And being born with a middle name Hussein, and being accused of being born in Kenya. That was the only, and going to a church with a man that I really respect, and I'm going to get on the show, Reverend Jeremiah Wright. He went to a radical church. That's the only thing Barack Obama did wrong. And Hillary Clinton drug President Obama through the mud as though he had been guilty of trafficking cocaine. And here her ass, her presidential ass, is under investigation. And all of a sudden, Black America is like, well, not Black America, but the Black Democratic establishment. They're like, that's our girl. 857-600-0518, man. I'm getting laughs out of this because this is, what's the name of that movie? The dumbed down, the like 300 generations, Idiocracy. I think that may be that. This is we have descended into the stupid depths of political theater in which people can legitimately look at a 15-minute press conference where the FBI director for 14 out of 15 minutes outlined everything wrong that she did, that she very well could have been indicted for if the quantity, right? He couldn't prove intent, but the other part of that clause said the quantity. So if the quantity of what Hillary Clinton had done was just a little bit bigger, for 14 minutes, he outlined how she could have been indicted, and yet and still you have the rest of her supporters and the Democratic Party running around as though this is some type of victory. I guess if not going to jail is the bar that we're measuring presidential victories, then damn it, congratulations. You got a victory on your hand. Caller, you are live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
Ben, it's David. Just wanted to call in and kind of revert to the Hillary supporter, more her surrogate, their side of things. But before I do, not sure if you're in our channel or not, there was actually something from the Hillary on this topic. Apparently, Comey may have to testify before the House Oversight Committee. But I'll let you tackle that if you choose to afterwards. So the only reason I bring that up is because it ties into the surrogate topic. Everyone, whether it be Twitter fans, whether it be her surrogates, whether it be the Democratic Party, the establishment itself, they'd love for this to go away. But whether it's Team Bernie or the Republicans, it's not going away because it's not over yet. There's the investigation might be over, but the presidency or any elected office is an interview. It's a job interview. So really, this doesn't end until the voters have their say. But they can try to say, drop the subject, it's dead, it's a done deal, all that. It's not. In terms of the surrogates, I was watching CNN earlier, and Hillary Rosen was absolutely. It's kind of funny how they try to masterfully twist things.
Oh yeah.
She insisted. I don't know if the name rings a bell to you, Hillary Rosen, but she's even going back to 2008 and before that, she was a Hillary fan. And over and over again, she claimed this is only one stain on Hillary's judgment record, when we could all point to 10, 20 different mistakes, quote unquote mistakes or errors being made. This is only one stain on her record, and the reason that the American people are going to forgive her is because she was honest throughout this investigation.
Exactly.
And when I heard that, and then you saying it just now, just talking about all the time she wasn't honest, it's just, how stupid do you think people? And I'm not gonna. You don't have to answer that, but
I will.
It's just like a face palm. It's like, really, come on.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Either respect people or disrespect people. Choose one.
Yeah, they're not stupid. They, some of them are. I mean, let's just be honest. Some of them are dumb as. Listen. This might come as a shock to people, but there are dumb people in America, right? And who cares if it's politically incorrect? There are people who are intentional. You don't like the word dumb. Okay, here you go. They're intentionally obtuse. And some of them not intentional. They're just obtuse as a mother. They were born that way. They just, they can't coherently string together an argument, and they can't dissect an argument for anything, right? Then there are some people who are intentionally obtuse. They're intentionally obtuse because they don't want to see. They don't want to admit. They don't want to confess and look at themselves in the mirror and say, damn, I've been following a charlatan for the last, however long I've been a fan of whoever, right? The hardest thing in the world to do is look in the mirror and say that you've been wrong, right? And so a lot of people would rather play dumb than to admit that they have been lied to and that they accept it. They would rather be lied to. They would rather Hillary Clinton bold-faced lie over the last 15 months of this investigation than to look at themselves in the mirror and say, damn, Hillary has been lying. Now what do I do? There's a cognitive dissonance, not even a cognitive dissonance. I don't want to even, because there's some times that cognitive dissonance is a good thing. There is a physical pain that is caused by having to swallow, having to eat crow. Let's put it simply. Having to eat crow comes not only with a nauseous stomach, but it causes a physical pain that you don't want to confront. And most people know, they know good and damn well Hillary has been lying to them, and they would rather do whatever they can to spin this positively for Hillary Clinton. Now, then you have that other bunch who are like, well, yes, Hillary lied, but we've got to stop Trump. All right, if that's your MO, that's your thing, then more power to you. Okay, but just for the record, let's set a new standard, or be clear about my standard. My job is not to help anybody get elected. Period. Somebody asked me, they were like, are you going to help us beat Trump? No, I'm not going to help your ass beat Trump. If Hillary Clinton runs a truthful campaign and I can use her truths against Trump and Trump is lying, then yeah. Okay, if the outcome is that, but I'm not here to help anybody get elected. I'm here to speak truth as I see it, and that's it. So that really means at this point, with Hillary Clinton being who she is and Donald Trump being who he is, I have absolutely no horse in this race. And I can just give you play-by-play commentary. I can observe this as a political science observer commentator and just give you the truth as I see it. But no, I'm not going, because if my goal is to help someone get elected, then I will have to lie and spin and not tell the truth. Now, my goal is to tell you the truth. And if that truth helps somebody get elected, then so be it. 857-600-0518. But to her supporters, like, I'm seriously looking for, please, I would like everyone to tweet or text or call or somebody, your relative that is a Hillary Clinton supporter or your friend that is a Hillary Clinton supporter. I'm genuinely looking for a Hillary Clinton supporter who can look at James Comey response for 14 minutes today and admit that Hillary Clinton was lying and that this is not a win except for the fact that she's not being indicted. And that You know, this is not something that they should run around and celebrate, because it really is damning for her cause, for the cause of the Democratic Party, is for their own cause. I mean, Hillary Clinton is already in the negative approval ratings. Her unapproval ratings are almost 60%. I'm sorry, her untrustworthiness. You know, do people trust her? They say no. I think almost it's 57 or 60% of the time. This is not going to help her. This will, I mean, you cannot look at today as a victory except for the fact that your candidate might not go to jail. That's it. I mean, and that's a good thing, right? Everybody, you know, nobody wants to go to jail. So congratulations, Hillary. You're not going to trial. You're not going to jail. Now, politically, today was catastrophic for Hillary Clinton, because as much as her supporters are going to say, just move on, it's time to get over it, we're going to put this behind us, they're still talking about Benghazi. And there was literally nothing there on Benghazi. So Hillary Clinton, being a Clinton, because the Clintons don't know when to stop and they don't know when to leave well enough alone, she didn't have anything to give them for Benghazi, so she gave them the emails. And you think they're going to just move on? If they made a 1.5-year fiasco out, and I'm sorry, not a 1.5 years, good goodness, how long has this been? 2012, right? So they've done almost a 4-year fiasco around something that was quite literally it was a big chunk of it was the Republican Party's fault. If they did 4 years of insanity around something that Hillary Clinton was clean on, what do you think they're going to do when she's guilty as hell, but she's just not guilty enough to be indicted? Somebody said, a lot of people agree with my wife. One person asked, can my wife guest host? This is the Benjamin Dixon Show. It's not the Jada Show. Love you, babe. If she wants to, she can totally host one day. Maybe she'll come in and co-host. 857-600-0518 caller. You are live. Wrong button. You are live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
Hi, Ben. This is Vita out of San Leandro.
Hey, how are you?
I fine. How are you doing?
Doing good.
I would like you to look into this new book by Dr. Khalil Muhammad with at Schomburg. It's called How Numbers Lie, and it talks about how criminal justice, how the categories, how they always assume African Americans are criminals, and it goes back to, I think you did a show a couple weeks ago about criminality. And it also talks about data. You know, when we look at polls and stuff, those 2 polls that you talked about for Hillary Clinton about racism and Donald Trump, and this will put it more in perspective for your audience when they look at data and polls and how they're dissected and how they.
Okay. Will do. Just if you could.
And also about Hillary Clinton, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just like they don't even believe that. Just like if they can't even see that, you wonder why in our history books we don't have a full story of American history. So they can't even think that they think we've never been lynched. We were happy. We were happy back then. You know, we're happy today. There's no They just, I mean, they have their beliefs and they don't do nothing wrong. Nothing ever happened. We're happy-go-lucky.
There you go. Thanks for the call. I'll definitely check out that book. I definitely have heard of it. I don't think I have it in my. I have like a stack of books that I haven't read yet, and then I have a stack of, I have a library of books that I have read, but I have a stack in my office that I haven't read yet. But I'll definitely check that out. If you don't mind, tweet that to me, because my memory is horrible. I just forgot the title that quick. But tweet that to me, 857-600-0518. But yeah, I mean, they don't want to, they're never going to admit. But I really would love to meet. I would have so much respect for the Clinton supporter that would say, damn, Hillary screwed up. Hillary lied to us. Hillary was not truthful. People don't like to say lie. Hillary hasn't been truthful. I'm very disappointed, but I'm still going to support her because I don't want Donald Trump to get in the office. I'm looking for that person. If I could find, I'm thinking of a Bible story, right? So this is a Bible story where God said, if I could just find one person, then I won't destroy the entire city. But can I find one Hillary Clinton supporter who isn't really hocked up on the on the Kool-Aid? Like, you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid like I've never seen. Nope, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. This is the type of behavior that you have hated to see Republicans do for the last 30 years, at least all of my life, 35 years of my life. Democrats have lamented this type of behavior from Republicans. And now somehow or another, you have become the very thing that you hated. You've become the monster. You've become the person that cannot see clearly because of your commitment to a party versus a commitment to values. And so, yes, I have seen this before. And the reason we can identify it so readily is because we properly diagnosed this problem with Republicans. And the same damn disease has infected Hillary Clinton supporters. And to be fair, because that's me, there are a couple of Bernie Sanders supporters who've been drinking their own version of a Kool-Aid, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. I'll talk about you guys another night. 857-600-0518, caller, you're live on the air. What are your thoughts about this email situation? And what's your name? This is you, caller. You're live on the air. What's your name?
Is it 404?
Yep. This is you.
Hello?
You're live. What's your name?
Thanks, Ben. Actually, I like your. My question was basically about the white privilege. You mentioned about the FBI. If Obama was in the similar situation, then you won't have, he wouldn't be running for president, which I agree with. But do you think that if Bernie Sanders was in a similar situation, would he run, even though he's white? There is some, even you need to be like a white neoliberal. So who will they prefer, Obama or Bernie Sanders? Or maybe neither of them, but at least maybe Obama will be preferred over Bernie Sanders in the similar situation.
Okay, great
I
question.
don't know.
Were you the one that asked me that on Twitter also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I personally think that, but anyway.
Yeah. No, great question. I'll be glad to answer that. Thanks for the call. So they're obviously, okay, thank you for reminding me, because I was getting ready to blow past right past that. But actually, yeah, I'll address it now. I'll see if I can address it in 2 minutes. There are levels to privilege. And let's just start the conversation out by saying everybody has their own form of privilege, right? I have my own form of privilege, right? You have your own privilege. Everybody has some type of privilege. Even the most disenfranchised, marginalized person, at some point, they have a privilege, right? So let's just start there, because a lot of people get like, oh, I'm not privileged. Yeah, no, you are. We all are. We all have our own version. Yes, there is white privilege. And Hillary Clinton is by far one of the greatest examples of white privilege that you have ever seen in American history, period, hands down. Now, of course, there are other additional layers of privilege that she benefits from, right? She does benefit from wealth privilege and economic privilege and elite privilege. She has all of that going for her. She has all of it, which makes it that much more hilarious when she feigns though she is marginalized, as though she is the great representative of marginalized women. Nah, honey, you are the representative of rich white women who can get away with crimes. Sorry, but that's based on what James Comey said today. That's the absolute truth. So she does have white privilege. And there are other privileges, and I think this is what the caller is asking. Does neoliberal privilege? Well, no, there's establishment privilege. Like, let's be sure, there is elite privilege and establishment privilege, right? The fact that the system is and this is why I predicted this outcome in the first place. I never believed Hillary Clinton was going to get indicted, not because I didn't think she was guilty of anything. I honestly didn't know. That's why I waited. But I knew she wasn't going to get indicted because the system protects itself. So somebody on the inside of the system is far more likely to be protected by this system than someone on the outside, period. But you cannot name me a single black person. I can name you a white person. I can name you a woman. I can name you a man. but I cannot name you a single black person that could be charged or could be under investigation, rather, and still run for president. Barack Obama could barely run for president with Hussein as his middle name. There's no way in hell Barack Obama could have run for president under an FBI investigation, period. It's impossible. He couldn't have done it. Yes, there are other levels of privilege. I've already talked about it, but Hillary Clinton, now, that's the very practical side of it, right? But there's another side to this. Hillary Clinton rolled into this nomination on the wings of the black Democratic establishment. All right, let's be clear about that. I've already gone over 3 minutes. I said 2 minutes, but here's the third minute. She would not be the candidate right now if not for the black Democratic elite. And their ability to spin a narrative of Bernie Sanders' white privilege, of his white male privilege. That was their arsenal. That's their weapon of choice. That's how they beat Bernie Sanders, was with this narrative that he was a white privileged male. And here we are sitting on the greatest example of white privilege, and nobody's pointing that out except for me to the black Democratic establishment. Like, all this time, you've been parading around Bernie Sanders as this example of white privilege, as though Hillary Clinton was a white. Here, Hillary Clinton is able to get away with something that not a single black man, or not even black, just a person of color or a woman of color could never get away with. And all of the black Democratic establishment, they're either mum or they're cheering her on, like, go on, Sister Hillary. Yes, slay Queen Hillary. So in the middle of the greatest example of white privilege, something that not a single black person in American history could get away with, all of the black Democratic establishment are cheering her on like damn cheerleaders. Which is why it is extremely important for us to point out the hypocrisy, her hypocrisy, but their hypocrisy, because she would not be the nominee if not for them. And they are being extremely hypocritical because they're not willing to even acknowledge her white privilege while they ran this entire damn campaign against Bernie Sanders' white privilege, which is why it is important for us to point out this about Hillary Clinton. And yet and still, I've got some progressives who are like, oh, don't talk about identity politics. I hate identity politics probably more than you, right? But if you do not understand them and you cannot master them and you cannot leverage it, neoliberals have, and they will use it against you. Weaponize the truth and use it back against them. That's all the white privileged tweet means. 857-600-0518. Caller, you're live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question? Actually, caller, nope. Hold on. Let me do something here. Station identification. Thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you for everyone who helps make this happen. Excited about this week. I've got some interns starting actually here in Boston. So it's a good chance that the entire local production portion of this will be stepped up a lot because they'll be in-house helping me with all the buttons and the lights and the switches, and I'll be able to do different things here. So shout out to my 2 interns coming in this week. I appreciate you. You should be watching. Do your homework. Also, shout out to all the patrons that make this possible. We could not do this without you. And in the middle of the show, would you look at that? Right at 9:30, and I like this guy's name, Benjamin S. Benjamin S. just became a patron right at 9:30. So thanks a lot, Benjamin. Lee Parker just became a patron over the 4th of July weekend. Thank you. I didn't mean to say your full name, Lee. Sorry. Hope you're not. Anyway, I apologize. Aaron D. Aaron D., thanks so much for becoming a patron over the weekend. 3 newest patrons. We can't do it without you. If you like the show, buy me a drink. Buy me a coffee for like $1 a month. Matter of fact, everybody listening right now can buy me a coffee. Like, after all this last month of all this last year and a half of giving you great content, go over to patreon.com/the BPD show and pledge $1. And then if you really like what I do, buy me a scotch. I don't drink anymore, but pledge $10 a month. But support the show so that we can keep going and keep growing and keep doing what we're doing. Now, that said, big shout out to my homegirl, Anoa Changa, for doing a great job. Tonight, this is why I try not to watch Anoa live, because I come on right after Anoa. But as soon as I turned her on for 30 seconds, I was locked in and I couldn't get away for like 30 minutes. I lost 30 minutes of prep time because I was sitting there watching Anoa. So you guys absolutely have to check out my homegirl, Anoa Changa, at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays on my YouTube channel. And I believe that there is a podcast version coming soon, and we'll be promoting that as well. And then on Thursday, Project Sanity with Ms. Pedersen and Richard Green. And last thing, there's a lot of us going to Philly. I just found out that I'll be in Philly. I should be credentialed, so I'll be on the inside as well as the outside. We have a team that are going to be on the outside covering the protest. We're going to be covering the debate between Bakari Sellers, Rania Kalik, and Mark Lamont Hill. That will be Sunday, July 24th. We'll be covering that live. So a lot of stuff going on from Philly, and we want you guys to tune in. We'll have all of that coverage live streaming directly from the event. Will be on our channel. You can go to dnclive.net and tune in. All right, caller, thank you for your patience. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Scotty.
Scott, you said Scotty?
Yep.
Hey man, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Not much, man. I just wanted to say, do you think that part of the reason why rank and file Hillary Clinton supporters are brushing this news off just because of loyalty to her, the Democratic Party, and also, I say fear of familiarity, and also, do you also think that, how long do you think that the black rank and file voters are going to be able to free themselves from the black misleadership class because of their role in this election? And I ain't up and keep up the good work.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Scotty, I always appreciate your call. I'm glad you said that. So the black misleadership class will continue to have power until white progressives become truly intersectional and do their damnedest to be bold allies on identity politics, on race issues. Like, address race issues, boom, period. Don't talk about nothing else. Don't talk about the class analysis. Go to the barbershop and talk about race and nothing else. Not that first day. Maybe day 32, start talking about class and the intersection between race and class. But if you can't identify with us on race, then you will continue to empower the black misleadership class like John Lewis. Love you, John. Got pictures with you, John. But some of the shit you pulled this election, you are by far one of the leaders of the black misleadership class, capitalizing on your bona fides, right? You are legit civil rights hero. You're leveraging that for your own political gain. But we're not talking about John. We're talking about how we pull power away from the black misleadership class. Because if you can't, I had a caller maybe back when I was in my house right in front of my bookshelf with the white, with the white background. The caller was speaking to how powerful the black vote is, particularly with the arrangement of the voting of the primaries, right? The fact that you have New Hampshire and you have Iowa first, but then you hit the South and you stay in the South for a long time. And he was commenting on how really in the Democratic Party, you cannot get elected without the black vote. Yeah, you can't. You won't. And because these white anti-racist neoliberals have co-opted and mastered the language of intersectionality, they know exactly how the hell to say everything is white supremacy to your mama. Everything is white privilege to your mama. Everything is white male. They know exactly how to do it. They do it for neoliberalism. And this is how Hillary Clinton beat Bernie Sanders. So until white progressives are willing to master identity politics for the right reason, and to do it not in the sense of co-opting, not in the sense of assimilating, but for the purpose of, you know what? There's some legitimacy to it, and we need to hear them and meet them where they are. Until white progressives do that, white neoliberals will continue to do it. Now, by white progressives, we're so much more powerful than the black misleadership class, man. We're so much more powerful than the Democratic establishment. I gotta take these headphones off. We're so much more powerful than them, because if white progressives with a class critique can connect on black issues, like legitimately connect on black issues, there is a revolutionary class of black people out there that the Democratic Party has not even touched. They are not even, they're not even moved by the Democratic Party. They're not even fazed by John Lewis. They don't give two rats' asses about any. I can't think of any names right now. I know them all, but I can't think of any other names. Like there are more black people who are socialists, who identify with the class critique of progressives, but we have no reason to connect with you because you're ignoring and dismissing identity politics and the fact that we still can literally be killed just because we're black. So until white progressives master that, these handful of black Democratic leaders who are the de facto spokespeople for black America will always be empowered, instead of people like Cornel West, instead of people like Adolph Reed, instead of people like Eddie Glaude Jr., instead of people, just a whole list of names. The black revolutionary, Michelle Alexander, Angela Davis, the black revolutionary class, y'all haven't seen nothing yet. But when the progressives, white progressives in particular, can become true allies to the black revolutionary class, not the black nationalists, you're not gonna get Umar Johnson and them, right? You don't worry about them. Don't worry about the Hoteps. I'm warning you now. Stay away. But the black revolutionary left, when you connect with them, we will kick the ass of any neoliberal on any day of the damn week. Caller, you are live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, man, it's Bryce.
Bryce, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
Doing good. I do agree with a lot of what you're saying, and obviously, Hillary, I'm not shocked. I knew this wasn't going to be the case, and in terms of the voting and, in terms of the black vote is very powerful, and that's why, I don't think that, I think that the black national situation, to me, cost Bernie Sanders the chance to win, outside of the Democrat establishment of things. But like everything you just spoke about the last 10 minutes, that to me really hurt him. Oh, another thing too. Let me know when you'll be in Philly. Okay. And we can probably get together. Just send me a direct message on Twitter.
We'll do, man.
Let me know when you're in the city.
Appreciate it.
Of course, I'll be here. But yeah. So okay, a quick question on the black man, what you just talked about. What do you think that needs to be done on what you just talked about the last 10 minutes for the next election? How that's going to affect the next election? What to do so that we can get a progressive in office?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, man. Thanks for the call. We absolutely have to get, like, next week, y'all. Like, not next election year. You have to build some deep relationships in the black community. Just like you have to build deep relationships in the Muslim Muslim community. Yeah, even though it's not a race, it's still a community, right? You need to build a relationship there. You need to build a relationship in the Latina community, right? And the in the Hispanic community. You need to have deeply rooted relationships there. They cannot be superficial. You cannot come around for election year. You can forget about it. But what you can do is march with them on every issue that is important to them. You can go to their churches and be there and listen before you speak, right? Don't go just to speak, but go and listen. Right? You can connect with the pastors. There's a litany of preachers. Like, I don't care if you're atheist, be an atheist and go there, right? There's still things that you can connect with the black community on that will help you. And it's not just the black churches, right? You got to go to the black mosque. You got to go to the barbershop. You got to go to the beauty salon and connect. All of these movements, these community movements, right? There are so many movements on the local level that progressives, white progressives in particular, can connect with and have a more genuine relationship with the black community than Hillary Clinton and you could have a better relationship with the black community than any damn member of the CBC. And that's not hard to do. So if progressives do that, white progressives do that, and listen to and identify with and be an ally for identity politics, then we, particularly me and other people like us, will be the very first people to shout to the top of our lungs when the identity politics spin is bullshit. Right? And I think if everyone did their part in their right place, right? I don't care that you don't think it's fair. Nothing is fair. Hillary Clinton not getting indicted, you feel that's not fair, right? So if you want to help avoid that type of situation, don't cry about it not being fair. Oh, but identity politics is so wrong. Identity politics, oh man, why do you always have to point out white male privilege? Because if you can't admit that there's white male privilege, then it's like a non-starter in the black community. You can't admit that there's white privilege as a non-starter. If you can't admit that black people are targeted disproportionately, if this is based on the damn data. If you can't accept that without whining and bitching about it, then this is a non-starter and you can forget about it. And you will forever be empowering people who are going to undermine the necessary class critiques. I mean, we've got to bring a class analysis to America. And I'm trying to give you the formula to do that. But there's a lot of people who push back on it because they're so turned off by the conversation about white privilege. Well, listen, the Hillary bros, they are right in line. They are perfect. They are, oh yes, I benefit from white privilege. I'm a white male. And as a white male, I can tell you that I benefit from privilege all the time. And Hillary Clinton is going to end white supremacy. Really? But they've mastered that language, and they've mastered that language enough to get the voting block of black people. And what I'm trying to tell you is that there are so many more black people who are not voting that we shouldn't even pay them any attention and go after the rest of them that are in the barbershops, that are in the churches, that are in the beauty salons, that are in the schools, that are at the universities, that are in the neighborhoods, those that are running businesses, those that have legitimate qualms with this system. And they are far more revolutionary than most of these Democratic Congressional Black Caucus members would ever hope to be. That's the formula. That's how you do it. Caller, you're live on the air. What is your name, comment, and or question?
Hi, this is Nina. Are you talking to me?
I am talking to you. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to ask, first of all, I love your show.
Thanks
but
so much.
why do you think Obama is not only out there campaigning for Hillary today, he's clowning for her? Mm-hmm. Did you see him with that Hillary? What do you think that is all about?
Yeah, it's about...
I'm ashamed of him. I am absolutely ashamed of him.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. I mean, if I actually cared a little bit more, I'd be right there with you, man. I can understand how you are pissed off, but I'm just at the point where I don't care anymore. Right? It's like Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton. I mean, he might as well be Bill, right? Barack Obama is doing his job as the leader of the Democratic Party. He's going to do it. Now, did you notice though? And I'm glad you brought this up. Did you notice they would not address this email thing at all? So Obama is in a really bad spot, and I'm not that I feel sorry for him at all, right? I don't feel sorry for him, but he's in a bad spot because, thanks for the call, because he's going to take a hit for Hillary. Hillary is so radioactive, and this email scandal is going to dog her, so that anyone who is standing on stage with her, anyone who's supporting her, they're going to take a hit. Now, are they going to take a big enough hit to actually ruin Barack Obama's legacy? No. Barack Obama's legacy is going to be fine. Is he going to take, are these campaigns going to take a hit for supporting Hillary Clinton because she's so radioactive? Probably. It's possible. Is it going to be enough for them to lose? I don't know. I mean, they're running against Donald Trump, so... but Barack Obama is doing the job of the Democratic leader. This is his job. He is establishment. He would stomp for Bernie Sanders the same way he would stomp for Hillary Clinton. That's the job of a party leader. The party is there to protect itself and preserve itself. That's no one should be surprised by that. But our media shouldn't be there to do that, right? That's what we should be upset about. We should be upset with media heads, media spokespeople who are out there just spinning this for their own personal benefit and for their own personal access, right? They're trying to play the line so that they can get access to power. Those are the people that we should be the most upset with. Now, be upset with Obama, right? Because a lot of you voted for him and you guys thought he was something that he was not. But I said this a million times on my show. I never thought Obama was this super progressive. Never did. Because he said he wasn't. And I took him at his word. I never projected onto President Obama something that I wanted to see. I listened to him. And he never said he was going to be progressive. He always said he was going to triangulate. Always. So I'm over him. I'm not mad at him. He's Obama. He's going to do what he did. That's what he does. And, moving on. I should ask it this way. Would you expect him to have done anything? Did anybody expect President Obama to do something differently? If you did, then you are still projecting onto President Obama things that he has never told us he was going to be. Caller, you might be the last caller of the night.
Yes.
What's your name, comment, and or question?
This is Nyasha again from Baltimore.
Hey,
so
Nyasha.
first I have to say Hotep, Brother Benjamin.
Hey, how are you,
And I'm thinking that this needs to be its own show where you break down your perceptions of the difference between Black revolutionary, Hotep, Black nationalist, then why white progressives
I'm not.
forget about Hotep.
Yes.
Huh?
I'm not doing that show, man. You're trying to get me thrown into the wolves. I'm not messing with them any more than I already have. You're trying to get me killed around here. But I hear you though.
But I thought it was very interesting. I laughed out loud when you said it. And instinctively I thought there was truth to it, but I really would love to have you interrogate and kind of disentangle that at another time maybe.
Okay. I will. I appreciate that. And you're one of my patrons, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, I know. Glad to have you on board. Thanks. It's not your first time calling, though, is it?
In my second.
No? Yeah? Okay. I think we may have got a bad signal there. All right. Got a nice voice. Anyway, 857-600-0518. Black nationalists are... nationalists. You got to look at the name nationalists and unpack nationalism and understand the extent to which nationalism goes. There's a very strong vein in nationalism that is opposed to. Anyway, I'm not going to do that on this show. I'm not. ending that right there. 857-600-0518. Okay. Did I not talk about Bakari Sellers already? I'm seeing somebody just tweeted me that I have to talk about it. I mean, in a way, it connects directly. I'll say a little bit about it. It connects directly to what we're talking about, the black misleadership class. Love you, Bakari, but you're slowly but surely, not slowly but surely, but you're there, man. You're with them. You're with that black democratic establishment, man. Those 60 people who signed that letter opposing this change, and I mean, that's who the letter, and that's who Bakari, and that's who they represent. And then there's the entire black revolutionary class. And there's so many different shades of it. But the reality of it is there's a lot of African Americans who identify with Palestine and the oppression of Palestine and have solidarity with them. And so you look at that letter that my friend Bakari put out, it actually signifies that democratic establishment, that black democratic establishment that is never going to support revolutionary policies, man. They're never going to go after a class critique. They're never going to allow, because they have benefited so heavily and mightily from the democratic establishment. Why would they shake the boat? I'm probably one of the dumb people who would be willing to shake the boat because it's the right thing to do, even if it's to my own personal detriment. I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. I very well could probably, man, imagine if I was doing what I do for Hillary Clinton for hire. Man, I'll be making $500,000 a year. Anyway, caller, you're live. You're live on the air. My last caller. What's your name, comment, and or question? Me? Yep, that's you, man.
This is Umar from Brooklyn.
Umar, my dude, what's on your mind, man?
Oh, okay. I think me and you were about the only ones who seem to have said that reliance on the email or an indictment coming from this email, it just didn't seem like a good move. Because from my perspective, and you're happening to be talking to a black nationalist, but who sees how things relate in the way that this political campaign, this particular cycle has been going. Because I'm like, if you go down the line throughout the year and watch what this woman has gotten away with, this is why I was stymied by everybody's reliance on this email thing. I was like, exactly what happened is pretty much what I figured, okay, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yep.
Because if you're conspiratorial, and you say the powers that be, well, isn't the powers that be backing this woman? Aren't they the ones in control, the Illuminati or whatever they are? Exactly. Well, what did you think they were going to do? Just let her get indicted? Okay, so, and again, I think that what seems to be happening, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, is that everyone has gone focused on this, and there seems to be a loss of focus on the future that you, Anoa, even said, Cirque, I think his name is from Young Turks, has been saying, okay, this round, they got it. But there are things we can do for the next round. This is why I keep comparing it to the Tea Party. The Republican Party treated them like crap. They ignored them. They dismissed them. And from what you saw when they first came out with those Revolutionary War costumes and muskets and stuff, they look ridiculous until they put people into power. And what did that translate to? Idiotic bathroom laws. That was Tea Party. Now, you can call the laws dumb or whatever you're saying, but I'm saying what they did was they built up power. They got those little offices. They was there for the midterms. And it's not their philosophy, but how they move forward from where they started. That's what needs to be imitated.
Yeah.
And secondly, I just say, hey, Ben, listen, you kind of paint it into a corner. You gotta do the show on that comparison. You gotta teach excuse me, my friends, the white liberals exactly
who to go for,
where nationalism and Hotepism is coming from. Because, like it or not, they're a segment. And, I hear what I kind of, I don't agree they can't be reached, but it's just in the way you did it. Even with what you were saying about Bernie, I was just pointing out in the chat, I'm in Brooklyn. when campaigns come, there's campaign stuff everywhere. I saw Hillary Clinton stuff all over the place. I didn't see Bernie stuff. I'm online. I'm connected. That's how I know. Yeah. That was a mistake in my mind. I think I touched on too many points, so I'm gonna go and let you respond.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think, let's be fair. Remember I said earlier, there's some Bernie Sanders supporters who drank the Kool-Aid. Hey, folks, newsflash, Bernie didn't run the best campaign. I probably lost 100 subscribers, but hell, I lose like 300 subscribers a month on YouTube. It is what it is. Bernie did not run the best campaign. Bernie could have ran a much better campaign, particularly in the black community. And if you're going to defend Bernie Sanders, and it's funny, like some of you guys would defend Bernie Sanders on the campaign he ran in the black community, but you won't defend him, like you'll turn on him if he endorses Hillary Clinton. Think about that for a second. And that's problematic, right? Bernie Sanders has been screwing up for a very long time. Now, I went to bat for him when he was right, and I'm going to be honest, when he didn't do right? You know, he did not, and this is from credible inside sources, he did not do what he needed to do to even get a chance at the black community in certain states. It's politics. You've got to do, and if you're not going to do that, then you've got to at least go out and take your message to the people who would never have been reached by the Democratic Party in the first place. And he didn't do either. So my suggestion is moving forward is don't drink the Kool-Aid for any candidate. I'm giving you the strategy that you need. And this is the same thing that any black person, honest, is going to tell you. There is a black contingency, and that's all you need, right? This is, not just because I'm black, right? But all you need to kick the ass of the neoliberals is to get 20% of the black community that's not voting right now. Because that's more than what they're getting. They got 11%. Only 11% of the black community voted, the entire black community voted for Hillary Clinton. Go and get the other 20%, not the other 20%, but go and get 20% of the remaining 89%, and you whip Hillary Clinton neoliberals' ass. Well, not Hillary, because newsflash, here's the other newsflash, guys. You came here for me to be truthful, right? I'm not the others. I just do me. No matter what you do in Philly, Hillary Clinton is probably going to be the nominee. Hillary Clinton is very likely going to be the president of the United States. Not saying that you should go vote for her. No, I'm not saying any of that. I think everybody should vote your conscience. Do what you feel is best. Do what's going to help you feel good the next morning, right? Because I sure as hell am. I am in Massachusetts, so I can vote my conscience if I decide to do that. I have a non-swing state privilege. But anyway, I'm already over time. There was something else I needed to say. So many other things to talk about. I didn't even get a chance to talk about, but that's okay. The moral of the story is that we've got to move forward, and we're ready to. We're ready to go to Philly. Be in Philly. I'm not saying don't go to Philly. Let's go to Philly. Meet and connect with everybody you can in Philly, not for the sake of Philly, but for the sake of 2018. Go. Rally, create a community, connect that community, and never let that community die down, and always be mobilized and energized. Be ready to go out, be ready to canvass, be ready to volunteer, be ready to run for office yourself. Do your part. We'll do our part. And do I have time to be petty for a second? Can I be petty for a second? Okay. All right. I'm going to be petty for 30 seconds. This is for all the people. I got all of you who follow me, just so that you could throw hate towards me. I want to let you know this, but in particular on Twitter. I just want to let you guys know, man, my mentions are so deep and people retweet me so much. And with my little, I got 16,000 followers. No big deal. Nothing huge. But my followers are so deep that I actually have to go and find you now. I have to go find you to find your hate. And I want to say thank you for being so dedicated to me that you would, even though I don't hear you most of the time, you would continuously throw hate my way. I appreciate it because it lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. I won't be doing the right thing if everybody agrees with me and I'm not pissing some people off. So it's just good to know that I'm still pissing off this very select group of trolls that I completely forgot about until I decided to go look you up. So I just wanted you to know that we're doing so good here that all of your hate is getting lost in the weeds. Smooches.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hang on. Wait a minute. How do I stop this?
Consider becoming a Patreon.
Boom. Let's stop this. Okay. Question from the chat room. Comment from K Grin. Ben is not admitting the election fraud? Why? What the F, man? Okay. Folks, there are at least 12 other channels where you can go and get all of the detailed information about the election fraud. I have said from the beginning that I don't believe that there was enough election fraud to turn every single outcome, to turn enough delegates for Bernie Sanders to win. I am not a reactionary. I have never been. If you want that, some of my good friends, I love them all. I like them all. I can recommend some. Go to their channel. They would document the election fraud. I'm proactive. I'm saying that for us to beat this system, we have got to get more people to the polls than can be accommodated for by election fraud. Now, granted, I think there was an example of 60,000 in New York. But if you look at the percentages in New York, it still wasn't enough to turn it. And was there enough to turn the entire election? No. So I'm sorry. That's just not where I put my energies. Was there election fraud? Yes. I think anyone objective can take a look and say, yes, there was election fraud. It's been documented. Go check out Lee Camp. Go check out Sane Progressive. Go check out H.A. Goodman. Go check out Tim Black. They have documented the election fraud phenomenally. I don't believe that there was enough for us to be able, and even if there was enough, you can't do it after the fact. Name me a case of winning an election after having it overturned because of election fraud. Shit, we couldn't even do 2000. It was clear and blatant election fraud right in our face, and we couldn't get rid of it. So what I'm saying is, why focus on what we cannot change? We should have been ready for it beforehand. We weren't. Our fault, all of our faults. We weren't. But now we know their game and we know how to beat them. And if we know how to beat them, then let's do it. And let's not focus on what they did except to examine it, dissect it, make a strategy to overcome it, and boom, hit the ground running. I'm trying to find the people who are going to beat the system and not complain about the system. Damn, I always give you guys some good tweetable moments. All right, let's see if I can get out of here this time.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.